Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Tarkovsky from My Holistic Self. And we have an awesome guest today, Susan Manewich, and she's going to tell us all about what she's working on these days. So welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we'll just say hello to Cody while we've got a moment before we get into anything. Hey, Cody. Welcome, welcome. And Jen, would you like to do the transits? Or
Sure. Are you ready to go with the space weather, or do you want?
I can do the space weather, sure. So here's the space weather we have, and I'll just add you guys too. There we are. So here is the solar activity. Not too many solar flares. We had one a little earlier that was an M class, but we haven't had huge spikes of late, not like we were having before with the X class stuff. So we're a little smoother in that area. We have had fairly even over the last couple of days with the KP index, so it's a little bit calmer there. Our Schumann, though, we are feeling it. We've got power 25 to 31. So you're going to be feeling those ascension symptoms. And of course, this is only what we measure. Otherwise, we've also got our neutrinos that Jen's going to let us know about in terms of what is going on, Jen, because we have a lot of stuff.
We do. I mean, we always do. But today specifically, the sun transitioned into the gate 59. So the gate 59 or the gene key 59 is gate of dispersion. It's also sexuality. It's about intimacy. Richard talks about this as the dragon in your genome because this triggers planetary mutation at a genetic level. So the energy that we are in right now moves us from the shadow of dishonesty into the Sid here enlightened state of transparency through the gift of intimacy. So this really is about that initiation through intimacy. And not just intimacy with another, but our willingness to have a deep, honest relationship with ourselves. And so we look at all of the places that we protect, the parts that we are very careful about revealing, and notice what is going on inside of me. Am I allowing myself to be vulnerable? Am I holding things back? What happens inside me when I allow myself to truly be seen? So the energy that we're working with this week is about helping us move into that space. We are wired for connection, and yet connection asks us to be vulnerable, to be known, to risk being misunderstood. And what ends up happening is, we get into this space of the shadow aspect that says, if I allow myself to truly be seen, then, right? And we get into all of the things that could go wrong if we allow ourselves to step into that energy. And so the path of authentic connection that the Gene Key 59 teaches is that intimacy cannot be forced. It has to emerge when there's enough safety for what is real to be present. So we know that not everybody is going to deserve full access to every part of us, right? We want vulnerability, with discernment. And that way we're able to trust true intimacy and allow ourselves to be seen. And this, Richard Rudd, who did the Gene Keys, talks about this as the healing path of our trauma, right? So our sanskara, the wounding in our DNA, the more that we turn inward, the more transformation can happen. And so this energy is really inviting us to look at the dishonesty that we have within ourselves. Where is it that I'm not really owning my reality, my truth? Where am I hiding it? Where is that shadow making me edit or perform or accommodate so that I feel like I can be loved or accepted, right? So again, we talk about people pleasing and hiding our vulnerability, our avoiding our emotions, those kinds of things. Notice if they're showing up this week, right? Take a moment and ask yourself, like, what am I protecting? What do I imagine is going to happen if I'm honest in this situation? And the more honest we can be with ourselves, the more intimacy the gift emerges. And that's being able to meet each other without that mask. So I can speak honestly and openly, listen to each other, holding those boundaries, but allowing for the differences that we see in one another. So we can be seen without performing and have that really honest, open communication. So for this week, some contemplations, things to journal on. Where in my life do I feel most able to be fully myself? What parts of myself do I tend to edit or hide around others? And what happens in my body when I feel deeply seen? And the affirmations for this week, and I'll put them in the chat for you. I meet myself with honesty and others with openness. I honor the boundaries that protect what is sacred while allowing the walls I no longer need to soften. And I am safe to be real, to be seen, and to meet others as I truly am.
Well, and I think that is a beautiful segue for Susan and what you do. I think that the New Earth discussion around that. So maybe just tell people a little bit about yourself first, and we can move into more discussion after that.
Sure. I think maybe to bridge a little bit about what was just shared. So I follow the solar and geomagnetic activity daily and with this, I'll say with this M-class flare that came, it was a little rare. Like we haven't had them, and then we got a little bumper here, right? Like yay! I like those. Yeah. I sometimes say when you don't get the geomagnetic activity that really bumps with it, it's like all the fun without the hangover sometimes, So, you can have that. And but honestly, I just want to say what Jennifer was sharing, I actually had that conversation with somebody today. So that, I mean, it's a little freaky, okay? Like, because I didn't know what you ladies do. I didn't know. Okay. And I'm listening. I'm like, if you could have been a fly on my wall this morning in my home, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about that, the vulnerability, the emotional safety, the real self, and did a couple of things with people in my life that I'm really close to express that. So that is bang on. And you guys are good.
Well, and I think that safety is so important right now, especially with the way of the world at the moment. I think that, there's so much fear in the collective that the more that we can bring that love in and give each other space to feel safe in relationships, it's going to be so important going forward.
Yeah, I mean, because talking about the new Earth, because I think what we know is like what's coming online is just like it's this unfolding. It's this flower that keeps unfolding, this infinite flower of ourselves, our true selves, right? Like that, and that keeps unfolding. And in order for that unfolding to occur, we don't want to thwart ourselves, right? Like we don't want to thwart and have to hide or contort or have this. I always say, have this impedance, it's like these like bumps all the time. Like, you kind of want bumps happen, but you don't want that impedance with the people in your life that you're close to, because you just want to be yourself. And I make a joke sometimes. I'll say, sometimes the energy feels so big in our bodies that our bodies don't feel big enough to hold it, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's that space that we're asking for ourselves, but we need that entanglement that we have with other people to not be so funky.
Well, and they mirror us, right? That's how we learn about ourselves. Jen says that all the time. The more we, see other people, it mirrors what we need to work on often, right? Or what's good, depending on what's happening.
Yeah. Or vice versa. We're mirroring what's going on with them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So I just had to say that because I thought that was so in alignment. And so I guess a little bit about my background. oh boy, I'll try to simplify things. I'm one of these people that I remember coming in. I remember my incarnation, remember coming from source. And I make jokes about that. I'll hold off on the jokes right now. But yeah, so I remember.
No need. No need. It's all good.
When you know that you're eternal, you're kind of like, all right, so when's this gonna, like, what's going on next, right? Like,
Yeah.
like when's it get a little easier here, and what do we need to do to help make it easier? So yeah, so I do. I remember coming from source. I remember being super excited to. I think it was to have it was actually super excited to individuate, because I had this, connection to source, and a connection to, it felt like a celestial body in the cosmos. And I remember literally waking up to individuate, and that brought an extreme amount of joy and ecstasy, and super excited to literally like go somewhere on behalf of the creator to provide assistance. And this is a joke I make a joke and say I'm like a pinch hitter for the universe. Like I'm like,
that's awesome.
Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, aren't you like a polymath? And I'm like, no, I'm like a pinch hitter for the universe. Like seriously, meaning like, okay, so you come in with these different, and we all have them, right? You come in with these different skills and abilities, and it's like, I just listen, and this is God's honest truth. Like I listen, and I've been listening ever since I was in the womb, ever since I was little and in a body. I just tune in and listen to, and it's not like words don't come in. It's an energy signature of knowing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And I'm always here to balance out something that's discordant. That's like a big thing. Like hold this thing that has all that going on, and then try to fuse it with this thing over here to like build the bridge to create that state of equilibrium. And knowing that the planet was going to go through a shift as a little person, and that the job was basically to help bring as much stability as possible during this planetary shift, and to enter into the new. So I came in with that, right? Like mentioned about being like a weirdo. Like I didn't know I was a weirdo when I was a kid, but my brothers would tell me I was a weirdo because I didn't fit in. And did my best to try to be normal. That was hard, but I did. And so so yeah, growing up, I always had a lot of energy, and I went eventually to school, got some degrees, did that thing. That was the call, and worked in the area of emotional intelligence professionally, and leadership development and organizational. I was always trying to get to the person, to try to tap into their soul, to try to like not have them do bad things and do the most good with the biggest amount of people as possible. That was always what I was doing. Like, and you chip away at those things that were dysfunctional, and people didn't like that very much. But that was the job, that was the job. And, let me fast forward. Then, I would always spend time when I was younger working with these scientists, inventors, behind the scenes. Like I spent time with Dr. John Mack's group at Harvard, here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, when I was like in my early 20s, did that. And I was always trying to pursue and understand these like my own contact, right? Like my own experiences, but also I just knew that I needed to collaborate with other people to understand, like, well, what are you picking up? What are you experiencing? And what does this all mean? What is this for? Right. And that was a big call of duty. And then more recently, I'd say in like the last 15, 20 years, I spent time working on new energy technology. So technology that people call free energy, exotic technology, but technology that basically works in alignment with nature. So you're not hurting nature, you're working with it, right? Like very female type of a thing. And that piece, and also I'm probably leaving a lot out, but maybe just giving the highlights. Been studying a lot about the electro and geomagnetic changes on the planet. That's why I'm super stoked that you guys did the because it's so relevant to our daily life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in the process of really the beginning phases of working on a PhD in regards to this, because of some research that I did with Beyond UFOs, the science of consciousness and contact, and we got this big evolutionary shift and this change that's happening right on the planet. But what does that mean for like the body, our consciousness, our mind? All of that, and the big thing that came through with that research was that planet shifting. We have to learn how to work with each other. We have to approach each other with love, approach ourselves with love, be super conscious about what we're developing, be super conscious of our thoughts, and really move in alignment with the earth as she's moving. And so, that's the endeavor. And that's taken me to lots of different places to do lots of different things. So hopefully that's a good little grounder.
So I'm totally on the same page. I'm just finishing up a book right now, Lead with Love and Let Love Lead You, about leadership. My other hat is that I'm an HR consultant as well.
Oh my God, yes, there you go.
So the leadership development is definitely part of that for me.
Yes.
So that the book goes into that piece about, we just have to lead out of love instead of fear.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's a simplistic way of looking at it. Of course, there's all sorts of nuance, but that is the basic thing. Make decisions.
That is the basic thing. It is 100%. That is it. And man, it's an endeavor. Can I just make a joke? I was on a conference call earlier, and I said, we're in a planetary transition, and I said, here's proof of it. How many of you felt like, I don't know, about a week and a half ago during eclipse, you felt like you were in the old Earth because everything was so horrible and like challenging and tough? Like, raise your hand. Everybody raise their hand. I'm like, all right. And how about maybe over the weekend? How many of some of you felt like you were, but in the new Earth, things were lighter, they're happier, they feel good? People raise their hand. Like this is the time that we're in right now. We're in this space. Like we're in this, right? And to remember when you're feeling that it is about love. And it is about, dropping that fear. A little challenging, though. Those bodies are kind of wired a certain way, right? Like we have to really work to change that technology around.
Yeah, well, we're not used to having that much high vibration coming through. So, and they are changing the whole way our DNA processes energy right now. We've heard that from, many of our guides and galactic friends that's what's happening. So we're certainly moving in that direction. So we're gonna feel it.
Oh man, are we ever? Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too. Like you think about like system change, right? And what comes to mind is like the idea of a phone when that first came out, and you'd have you'd have to have somebody else connect you to different places, and then it evolved into being able to connect directly, but there were party lines and other people might be on the line, and it might be a little all the way through until now we have cell phones and all of that. And so the technology was constantly changing, but the devices were changing with it. That's not the case for us specifically, because we're still in the human body. We're still in the form. We're still in all of this. And even though it's been making progress over time, it hasn't changed with the amount that consciousness is changing.
Yeah.
And so we're adapting in whole new ways within a system that is still trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's clunky, right? Like it's super clunky, and it's not pretty. It's and sometimes you can look afterwards and go, oh, okay, well, I feel better now. And you can see other people, they feel better now, but you can see the discordance, and you can see the instability that comes in, and that shakiness. I had somebody say to me really close to me, they said, when is it gonna stop? And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I have to have a different conversation with you, right?
So we're human.
Yeah. I'm like, this is what you call, we have to learn to adapt. We have to learn how to ride that wave and not let it get us taken down, get the wave on the head, as they say, right? So we got to learn how to ride it. And I think that's really, and I got to tell you, I thought, I kind of thought early on, I'm like, well, I'm ahead of the game here. I'm just being honest again. Like, it's funny because I'm ahead of the game here. You know, I come up my consciousness intact and right? Like, I know this, I know that. Like you know, like a lot of us, you know, you pick up things. You can pick up people's thoughts. You can pick up. You're like, yeah, I got that. And then the body comes into your play. You're like, all right, I wasn't prepared for that.
You're like, oh, why am I feeling that?
And then you realize, wait, we're all in this together. Like,
Yes.
I need you and you need me and we need each other.
Yeah.
And that's the good
Absolutely.
part, though. Like, that's part of that intelligent design. Like, we actually all need each other here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we're not alone.
That's right.
And I mean, we're not alone spiritually, and we're not alone physically. You know, there's so many people out there. There's communities out there. We just encourage everyone to find one that resonates with them, right?
Yes,
that really
that's true.
Feels right for them. Because
Yeah.
nobody needs to be alone. We are human. We're meant to be in community.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I agree. And one of the things I picked up that may be helpful to your viewers, since you do the space weather bit, is there's the interplanetary magnetic field, that BT. When that BT shoots up, and then the BZ, the solar wind comes in, and it allows a lot of connectivity, you know, like it allows that greater connection to come into play. That's when I've seen people really struggle. So it's not so much like the big solar flares or even the geomagnetic activity, although, you know, those are the ones that get most attention. The emotional instability really seems to be that high BT when that BT jumps, and then the BZ goes southward. So I just share that because it's not always so easy to see these things, but I've been tracking it for quite some time. And, you know, I try to tell people, it's like when people really do struggle, to say, hold on, it's okay. It's going to pass. It's a moment. It could be a couple hours, but it will pass. And you'll be able to get your stability back online soon, you know? So like that. And there's obviously things people can do to help themselves to get back to that alignment.
Yeah. And I think the nervous system work that Jen does is great for that. And of course, energy healing stuff helps people to manage that, you know. But really doing the self-care and learning how to do those things yourself is really key, right? So that we can empower each other to work through.
Yeah, so huge. So here's that you don't have to be a victim of it. You just need to learn to work in alignment with it when it happens to, you know, get your connection to that Schumann 7.83 hertz, right? Like to get your connection back online. So it's not always going to be that, but this is, like I said, you know, this is why we do need each other. And there's something about it. I can't figure this piece out. Like some brilliant person that knows a lot about science, I think electromagnetically, could figure it out. But I think there's something about this shift on the planet that is affecting us electromagnetically, where we do need people. It's not like having people is a nice to have. It's almost like there's something that we're doing with each other electromagnetically that's actually maybe like we're building our own microfields. And that seems to be part of this shift, is like you said about finding a community that resonates with you. I think that's extremely wise and extremely powerful, because I think that's not going to be one of these things that's a nice to have. I think it's actually going to be a big necessity, and not out of fear. It's just out of this change, this shift that we're moving away from that like individuation, that we could be like super individuated because something is going on electromagnetically where you can't really, you know, be the solar warrior anymore.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you're familiar at all with human design. So are you familiar with the 2027 prophecy with human design?
Slightly, not
so
a ton.
In 2027, the entire world's incarnation cross is going to shift, and we're going to move out of mental awareness into emotional awareness. And one of the things that Ra really talks about resonates so much with what you're saying, because the whole idea that the solar plexus is going to become the awareness center, that emotion is going to become what our awareness comes from, not the mental processing that we've been doing for so long. And he talks about a whole new kind of form of person coming in. He calls it the rave. And they're going to be like a lot of what we're seeing right now in the autism world, where there's, we talk about like the hill and the kids who are going and they're learning and connecting in basically the astral, and getting all this information and bringing it back, because the connection between us is not going to be the way that we understand it anymore. And it doesn't mean that those of us that are here already are going to suddenly change. That's not the case. But moving forward, the world is going to evolve into this much more emotionally connected understanding of each other in a very different way. And so when you're talking about this like electromagnetic connection, we are connected to the earth, and the earth is helping with this transformation within us.
Yes. Yes, yes, and thank you so much. And if I can add to that, so I read a lot of Rudolf Steiner, because Steiner just so resonated with what I knew, right? And one of the things that Steiner said when he was talking about these epochs of time, like Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, and now like during Atlantis, was like this focus. This is where the big intellectualism, the scientism comes into play, right? But also now it's like the body, the physiology, like the body sensations. Like we're in a time that those body sensations, people are like, that's. I remember when I used to teach emotional intelligence, people would be like, well, emotions are in the way, like I get it out of the way, and I'm like, haha, you're wrong, like.
Sorry.
Sorry, but those things.
You're human.
Are part of your evolutionary survival, with all due respect. So they're coming more online now, like the feeling state, right? Like the feeling state, you can't really get out of that feeling. You can't outthink those feelings anymore. You got to like deal with the feelings. And that what Steiner talked about is like those senses. The senses is what's coming online. So that is so in alignment with what you were sharing about that 2027 prophecy, right? Piece, because the body, that sensation, and isn't it funny, because like you look at the earth and you look at like the wind and the fire, right? And the rain and the sun, and what goes on earth, like earthquakes, even like people feeling these earthquakes more often, like that sensations piece. And it's like, I say, I used to do it every day, a space weather report, but a little bit different. And I do it 2 days a week now, but I always say you are designed to be attuned to the earth and cosmos. Like that attunement, that connection is really the attunement, and we move with that real time, then it's guiding us to what we should be doing, where we should be doing it, right? But we can't seem to get out of that feeling state, thank heavens. And that's the real big thing right now. And I'm so glad that like I've not had a chance to really talk about that with people. So thank you for stimulating that and really understanding it, because it's huge. It's not small.
It's not small at all. It really isn't. And the more that we're recognizing the connectedness that we all have, and the more people that are coming to understand that, the more we realize that, again, so within, so without, so above, so below, all of that, we recognize that, what we are doing within ourselves is impacting the collective, just as the collective is impacting what we're doing within ourselves. And that is all really from that emotional place, because that's the vibrational energy that is impacting each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The collective biofield, right? And we're all connected to that, and we're all feeling what the whole collective is feeling. I think that's what you're saying, Jen, too. So the more we realize and recognize that we're all connected, it really does impact how we see the world. I mean, that was on my journey, that was definitely a big realization when we step into the collective energies of it. We start thinking, oh, why am I feeling so weird? And then you realize, something's happened on the other side of the earth, and you're like, Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? We have an
Yeah.
earthquake on the other side of the earth, and I'm feeling funny here, even though I'm not near the epicenter or anything. You start to
Exactly.
realize,
Yeah.
the impact.
Exactly. And, now that we're talking about earthquakes with such an astute, wise group of women here, one of the things I'm noticing is as an earthquake happens now, there is a huge release of feminine energy that seems to be coming through. I mean, I don't want to qualify what the feminine energy is because everybody has their own label on it, but I have felt it. I felt it a number of times in this last year, and it's knocked my socks off. And it's really been like, whoa, and obviously when an earthquake happens, it's very destabilizing for the people in the local area. People do pass away. People, like we have that part, but there's the catastrophism part of it. And at the other side, like there's also this it's almost like, Mother Earth is like expanding her wings and she's opening up and she's flexing herself. And it just seems like there's this incredible feminine energy that is emitted now. I don't know if that's something both of you have picked up or you've felt, but it's like, yeah, there's the physical sensations, but then there's this, almost energetic, just new loveliness that is hard to describe.
Feels like she's hugging us.
Yeah, she's
sending out energy to hug us.
Yeah.
What's really interesting as you're saying that, what comes to mind, so my day job is a psychotherapist, and so we talk about like trauma work and trauma healing, and what comes to mind is that idea of like the somatic shaking, right, or the tremoring that can be done to really move the energy through the system, and to see that that's happening more and more, like there's a healing that is happening. And even though for us it feels very destructive, for Gaia it's like I'm shaking loose all of this stuff that has been holding her in and holding that energy in, and she's like saying enough, I'm healing this, right? And as she does that, even though we're dealing with some of the ramifications of it based on like what we've built on her, right?
Yep.
But also getting, this isn't going to come out right, put back in our place in terms of like what we are and are not supposed to be doing with the planet. And she's taking that power back and she's doing that, which would very much feel like that energy is coming forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I was saying, I saw my job was to help to bring these energies into alignment because I knew that the earth was going to flip over on its rightful head. These were silly terms that I came up with when I was a kid to make sense of things, right? And as an adult, I still use the term because it's pure and genuine. But that turning up on its rightful head is basically that what it really is not supposed to be, but what it really is, and to break through those barriers that have, put those chains on. And as a result, you see women that are waking up, right? Like you see women that are really expanding and breaking through. And I don't know about you, both of you, but before earthquakes, like I'm watching women cry, I'm watching women shake, I'm watching women do what you said, the trembling. And then there's this like almost like a fight inside, like they have to get it out, they have to say what they need to say. Like there's an expression that's coming through about maybe not being treated so well, respect, honor, those real aspects about how spirit lives in a body, on a planet that is evolving, that is changing. And then I'm just thinking about both of you, and I'm thinking if I'm a person and I'm needing my HR person, I'm a person, I'm needing my psychotherapist, I couldn't have imagined two better equipped people to help me through these things. No, I'm serious. I'm so serious. So that because people in business are experiencing it. People in they don't have to be in spiritual communities. They don't have to be like on the cutting edge. Like I'm watching people that are experiencing it that just have no concept of where it's coming from, what it is, or where to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. And people don't understand necessarily the energy of it, and this buildup of energy that they need to release. That's they don't understand that, and they think that it's this anxiety or this pressure that's coming, and it comes at you from different directions. And in the workplace, we're like interacting and spewing it out at each other because we're reacting, and we don't know how to manage the energy. And it's really, if we can learn to manage our own energy, each of us, then we can start to move into this making better choices.
Yeah. And speaking about the energy, I remember in contact experiences, just to share with your audience too, with both of you and your audience, there was such huge energy, right? Like every time, you'd see this light ship, or you interact with a being, it was like, it's like so full on. And there's just more energy that's there. And I think that's what we're moving to. We're moving to, the supercharge of our senses, because the energy is just ramping up. And it's not always reflected in the Schumann, but like the point is like that energy is just, that connectivity is ramping up so much stronger. And then being able to not just hold it, but to effectively utilize it. And it's people say, well, why do you prepare for these times that we're in? It's like, well, you got to increase your bandwidth, got to increase we know you're going to increase your frequency, we increase that bandwidth as well, to be able to, dark can feel really dark these days, and light can feel really light. And it's like, that's that bandwidth expressing itself in the body.
Well, and we have to sit with the emotions that come up, right, Jen? We've got to allow ourselves to feel that stuff so that we can release it. Because if we hold on to it, the moment that higher stuff comes in, we're like, we don't know what to do with this, right?
That's
and
right.
It comes out in some way.
So. That's right. That's right.
It's so fitting with the energy that we're in right now, specifically, again, that piece of being really honest with ourselves, because part of that is going to be working with those denser energies and working with the shadow aspects and the things that, are wanting to become our genius, that are wanting to move through us.
Yeah.
And the more that we're able to hold that space, right, this is where that idea of spheres of consciousness came from, is that, yes, we talk about frequency and needing to raise it, but the reality is all of those energies, all of those emotions, everything from the dense to the expansive are within us at all times. And so it becomes a harmony. How do I play these together? As opposed to polarizing them, how do I allow myself to sit with my anger and have gratitude? How do I allow myself to sit with the sadness and hold joy? How do I let these things come together to play this beautiful harmony within me?
That's right.
So that I don't feel the polarization of, or the density of it on its own.
Yeah. And for those of you who know, Spheres of Consciousness is a book that Jen wrote. So.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. But that's honestly, that's really it. And this, because there is so much talk about the dark and the light and the dark, they're not opposites. We are that, we are that. We are that body. We are that universe. We are that universe. We are the sun. We are the moon there, right? And we are the shadows in between. We are those things. That is who we are. That is what we are.
Yeah. And we are exactly how we're supposed to be. So having both of those is perfectly imperfect. And that's what we're supposed to be.
Yes. And sometimes it doesn't always feel so great. I think we always have to say that. Pollyanna here, it doesn't always feel so great. But there's a wisdom that comes with those emotions, and being able to feel those emotions, right? And if we can take that information, that wisdom, that those sparks of light that come in, for that awareness and that learning, and then Jennifer, like you said, it's holding both of those, and it's like seeing the joy, and also being able to see that sadness. If we can see the wisdom of those, this is almost like getting to the fuller package of what it means to be a human being on this planet during this time. Absolutely. And that's more, that wisdom is information. And I used to teach emotional intelligence. I would actively teach it, full on. We tell people, hey, emotions are information. What are you missing here by blocking that out? that's a boatload of knowledge there.
Yeah. There's signposts, right, as to how we're feeling, how we're going forward, what we need to do, what we don't want to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these micro expressions that come in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's fascinating too, because, you know, we know that these things are messengers for us. And the reality is that if we don't allow the message to come, it's just going to keep coming. Right. But the mind has this tendency, being in this human world, and I guess it's something that's been conditioned in us over time, to label. This feeling is bad. This feeling is good. This emotion is bad. This emotion is good. And then we immediately decide that I don't want to have the experience that I consider bad, which are those denser energies, versus I want to have these experiences that I deemed good, those more expansive energies.
Sure.
But the reality is, none of them are good, bad, right, wrong. They're all just part of having an experience. And the more that we can move into that space of understanding that, the more ability we have to harmonize them, and the more ability we have to move through them and accept them. Because at that point, we're no longer making it difficult.
Yeah, and it goes to, if I can speak about technology for a moment, because that goes to technology. Like it goes to, so working on the free energy stuff that I worked on, and still work on, just albeit a little bit differently now. You know, I would always say, I think for some of us who have experienced these light shifts, right, and then you have experienced these higher states of consciousness, like with these physical beings, whatever the case might is, like to me, there's this primordial. I don't want to say the word ethics because it constitutes like ethics on our planet that we have now, but like there's just kind of like the way things are, right? Like morality wise, ethic wise, and again, those are probably bad terms. Come up with a better one. But with the technology, it would always be, you can't let the cart go before the horse, meaning it can never be about the technology first. And it really is about us, and how we interact with each other and what we create from that. And that's what I think is the big learning right now, is we work on us. And somebody would, you know, people would always inevitably ask me, they'd say, why don't you just give up the goods? Why don't you give up the goods? Tell me about the technology. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Like there was just this like Gollum approach to the tech all the time. I'm like, there's no secrets. I'm like, it's about human beings. The human beings are the ones that are creating it, right? Like, and they may get downloads from wherever to create what they're working on, but there's still a vessel that needs to communicate with other vessels. And in that is how we choose to interact with each other during these processes, during this creation, during what we attach financial pieces to it, or we attach power to it, right? Ego, whatever the case might be. But, you know, it's like, it just seems that there's such an important focus on us growing and maturing as human beings during these times. And then it's what we create from that, right? And I just want to give mention to that because, you know, our planet is going to need solutions to a whole host of things that are going on. And I never focus on the tech. I always focus on, okay, well, how are the people that are working on the tech showing up? What else needs to happen in the bigger picture? And, you know, nobody liked those answers when they'd say, give up the goods. And I'd say, it's not about that. It's about trust, and it's about cooperation, and it's about each person realizing that they have a part in this, but it's all the parts showing up and realizing that those other parts have value genuinely, you know, not just because it's nice to say it, but because that's really what it is. And you know, I feel like these energies are a huge gift to us right now, because they give us that opportunity to really get those things settled within ourselves, activated and settled.
And that activated and settled, like, it's so important, the activated part. Like, nothing changes when things are just status quo. We need to have these things that stir up, right? We need to have the more dense things happen so that we are wanting to move towards change. Because we don't change things when we're comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
Not even
people
close.
asking me, like, people ask me, like, why is this all happening? Like, why can't we just, I'm like, what, would you change something if you were comfortable? Like, honestly,
That's
would
right.
you, if you're comfortable where you are, you're not going to change your situation. So we have to have the chaos to bring in change.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that being showed me when I was younger, and then older, they came back, was they showed me that the evolution of the cosmos is evolving. Cosmos are doing their thing. Like, it's doing its thing, and Earth is doing its thing. It's just us that have to go, like, get on the program. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not going to stop. Like just because pick any world leader, pick any AI tech bro out there. Just because I say it, this is the way it is. It's like, ha ha. There's real time. And the cosmos is evolving, and it's constantly moving, and it's constantly doing its thing. And it's only here on Earth that we kind of get this drag that comes in with people going, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way you got to live. It is a bit of a prison planet attempt, but not it. But the energy of the Earth is not going to go with that. That it ain't going to happen.
No, it's that resistance is futile. We are changing. So if we choose to resist, we will be more uncomfortable in the change.
Oh gosh,
if we go with the flow.
yeah, for sure. I have a friend that lives down the road, and we're chatting one day, and she said something about what about everybody else? What about other people? I worry about the people that aren't feeling anything right now. I'm like, honestly, that's who I actually worry about, is the people that are not feeling it, and that may be so closed off, or so like in the simulation, so to speak, that they're not allowing themselves to feel something. Because my sense, could totally be wrong, would love to hear what you guys think, but my sense is those energies are going to become so loud one day that they may not know how to adapt and deal with it. It may be like sudden cracking, so to speak. I don't know, but that's sometimes what I worry about is when people are not feeling it, or they try to shut it out so much that they don't feel it.
Yeah, because it will come through in one way or another, right? It's the energy.
Me think so.
Build up, right? If we don't deal with our own emotions, they're going to build up, and it's going to come out somehow. And that's why we have so much anxiety right now, because
there's a lot of anxiety.
People are feeling that buildup. I know for me, like when I would, so I tell a story about when I was in management, and you weren't allowed to cry in management, which is of course why I teach what I do now. But you weren't allowed to cry, and so I would hold it in so much that when I actually did allow myself to cry, I would actually burst all the blood vessels under my eyes, because I would hold it in so much, because I'm an empath. So I worked in healthcare, and I would absorb everybody's energies, and because this was before I was into energy healing and stuff, right?
Boy.
This was my
Good
learning. So I would feel everybody's emotions in healthcare, and it would just build up until I couldn't hold it anymore. And then I would cry or have, panic attack or whatever it was I was going through at that time. This is why I've been led to my journey now, because I went through all of that, but that was how it would come out in me. So I have a feeling that some of what we're seeing right now in all of the globe right now is this I've held on to these emotions for too long, and they can't stay there now. We can't sustain this in the way that we have been. We need to be able to manage that and allow ourselves to, let it out a little bit at a time. So, I don't do that anymore I haven't had that problem in a long time, with the blood vessel thing, but that was something that was happening for me when I was in that sort of ignoring my emotions and not doing what I was supposed to be doing. I went through 2 burnouts before I realized that I was supposed to be learning how to do something in a different way. Right. And so I think that people are going to have to start doing that going forward. They're going to have to stop holding on to the emotions and letting themselves get to that boiling point.
And this is such a beautiful energy to be looking at that in. Right? The whole idea of this, like, triggering genetic mutation, planetary mutation, is that dismantling of that baseline of fear, right?
Yeah.
That isolation, that part of us that is not being honest with the emotions and what is showing up inside of us, and being able to actually sit with that and allow the tears to come, allow the things to process through us. And so, to what you were saying, these people who aren't feeling anything at all, right? We know, in a storm, right? We talk about like the tree, and the one that blows in the wind is going to survive the storm much better than the one that is completely firm and doesn't have any movement within it.
Right. And you're both making me think of also two things. The first one is a quick management story. I kind of wanted to get let go from a job when I was 29. I had to fire a lot of people being in HR, and then of course I was like, well, this isn't good, right? I mean, the company was doing some layoffs, and I basically said something. I was sexually harassed by the president of the company, and I said something to him directly, and then I got fired. But what I was told by my boss at the time, who was the head of HR, he said, "You know what, Susan, what your problem was?" He goes, "You never learned to look the other way." Yeah, right. Well, this was a long time ago, and I'm sharing that because now you can't look the other way. The energies don't allow you to do that, right?
That's right.
So, and another thing I want to share, because we're talking about emotion and feeling and these feelings coming up. When I was, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe more than that, a little bit more than that, 15, 20 years ago, I remember sitting in my living room, just having a very calm moment, the sun was coming in, and I was just sitting there doing my thing, connecting. And I heard this term come in, and it was called electromagnetic neurogenetic. And I was like, what's that? And the next thing I know, it was a download of that with the solar energy coming in, it was triggering people's soul memories.
Yeah.
So I wrote about this years ago, 15 years ago, I wrote about this, and it was that triggering of all the pieces and parts of you coming to the whole, coming back into the one. And, when they come in, they're going to make people feel a little freaky. They'll make them feel destabilized. They're going to remember things. Maybe they remembered that they killed somebody in a different lifetime. Maybe they remembered that they were the person being oppressed, right? And why are they having a reaction to this other person that's in their life, right? So, there's living on different star systems, maybe they were on this planet previously in Atlantis, Egypt, Europe. I mean, we know that there's many of us that have come during these different cycles of time, right? So these memories are coming through. And if we don't have somewhere to put that, to be like, hey, it's okay, 10 people I know remember being in Egypt, they remember that. So if you don't have somewhere to put that can make you feel like you're out there. And I think that's why it's so important that this conversation, around whatever it is, disclosure, whatever you want to call it, but that it really, all of this gets super up leveled fast. And that's why, the work that both of you do is really important, because we have to be able to allow people to, in that growth is this cosmic memory that we have. Right. And that cosmic memory is being activated. It's the energies being activated, but those memories, the electromagnetic, right, neurogenetic is that's being activated. And that is not just, there to remind us of our past, but it's for us to come into the one, just as the earth is doing, so we can move into that greater alignment for what's coming next. And, so anyways, I bring that up because that is some of the jarring stuff, and some of it's really cool, right? Some of it can be really cool. Oh my God, I remember XYZ I did on this planet or in this star system, and this is how we just connected with a woman physicist who's got some cool stuff because she remembers her life and what she was doing. And I said, you and I should talk, because I think you got something to add, and I think I've got a place for you to do it. So that, right?
Well, and that's the work that you're doing that is so important and meaningful as well.
Exactly.
And finding those connections and holding that space so that all of it can come through right now. And I do find, to what you're saying, that idea of where to place it, there's specific things that are coming through, memories and all of that, of other lifetimes of being part of the whole, all of those things, so that we can carry aspects of that forward for what is needed with the change that is happening in the world right now.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like, that's, people talk about superpowers. I'm like, there's a superpower right there. Like, hey, it's not just this life, it's all your lives, right? Like, look at all of that. How cool is that? What did you do in this other life that you can tap into for the current one that you have right now? And how is that adaptable? I totally agree with that. And that, that's the fun part of it, right? Like, okay, no pain, no gain. Some of the physiological changes are not so fun, but look, you get to embrace more of yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, Jen, and the connection piece is coming through for me with all of this too, right? Like, it's so amazing how many people from all of our other lifetimes have been coming into our lives in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So Jen and I shared a lifetime during the Orion Wars. I was Pleiadian and she was Lyran, and she's written a book about that. I'm working on my version. But it's that lifetime was so important for this lifetime because of some of the changes that are happening. And Jen and I work with the Federation a lot because of that particular lifetime, where that kind of thing. And then in that lifetime, because it was so instrumental in who we are today, we've had so many people that have just come into our lives from like all over the planet and it'll be, somebody in Hawaii, someone in Spain, someone in our city, but they come up and we're like, oh, and they read Jen's book and they totally get activated and we're like, oh, so you were there. Cool. Let's talk about that. So it's created conversations.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
ladies, that's there. And you know what? I'm hearing more and more of this, and it's like, I love the fact that it's becoming more known that we can actually look at each other and recognize each other. Sometimes everyone's always pining for the ETs to come. I'm like, we're here.
Like, hi.
We're here.
We're already here.
Here. Yeah. That is that is incredible. I love that.
Yeah. Well, Jen and I have been together in many, many lifetimes. What was the number we got from Diane? 1370 or something like that. Yeah. Lifetimes. Not all here on Earth. And so, it's that connection thing happens, and it really does go from lifetime to lifetime. And you just know when you meet someone.
It does. No, it does. It does. I just have to say this, forgive me, but it reminds me of my partner, my daughter. When she was younger, she's it's very cute. She said, I was baking her cookies, and she comes in, she's like 3, and she tells me a story of, I pierced my own ear when I was 17, and she goes, I saw you pierce your ear in the mirror when you were 17. And I'm like, what? And she says it again. She goes, I saw you pierce your ear in the mirror when you were 17. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's true. How'd you know that? I was getting ready for a wedding and somebody gave me earrings to wear, and I didn't have my ears pierced, so I just jammed there. It's terrible. And she goes, we don't need to be in bodies to know each other. We've known each other a long time. And she just leaves the room, right? So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So mine's Sid. Mine's my daughter. And that goes back, but gosh, isn't that amazing that we you got to wonder, that's the cool part about these incarnation process on the planet, right? We have each other here.
Mm-hmm. Jen and I say often, I'm so glad you're here. Just, because we've had so many lives together that it's just very comforting to know that you have other people in your lives that know you, know your soul energy, not just, who you are, what you do here, but your soul.
Our individuated foibles of
being
human.
And we have a soul group, right? It's not even just two people. It's like you have this whole group that just comes down and does whatever we're meant to do that lifetime. And then we go and then we come back and we're like, oh, I got a different job this time. Let's go be a different
That's
role.
right.
You know?
Yeah. That's it. I mean, seriously, because can I just say this? There's just such this weird like mystique and mystery around like, oh, the ET or the ship or the like special abilities, right? And this, it's like, come on, like, no, like it's a connection. We have a connection. We've got star brothers and sisters. We're like in bodies, we're not in bodies, like subtle form, more gross form, like it's not that weird or unusual. It's actually very common. And if we can just actually like grow up and see, I mean, you two do that. Like I do that in parts of my life. Like if we can get the greater whole to see it's not that weird, it's actually very comforting and very normal and very lovely. And much more related to the indigenous perspective, right? The indigenous groups around the world see this as well. So, you know, may have a different way that they explain it or share it, but nonetheless, like that's that infinite in those subtle realms that cross those physical boundaries and barriers. It's energy first, and you know the physical manifestation is after that.
Yeah.
And that's love too. I mean, can I just say, like,
Yes.
that's the love that you both have to support each other. That I mean, there's a book there, right? Like,
we're working on that one too.
That's love.
It is.
That's love. That is love. It's love. And it's love of in service, love of humanity, love of evolution, love of the cosmos, love of, you know, your soul and where that goes, you know, like where it's been, but where it goes. And I mean, that's what I see when I see both of you and I hear that, you know.
Yeah. And the more we bring that onto the planet, I mean, I'm sure that's why all of us are here right now, right?
Yeah.
To bring that here. That's what we came for.
Yeah.
So,
spread the huge.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe it's been an hour already.
It has.
That flew. And what an amazing conversation. Jen, we usually do our home play, we call it.
Oh, yes. While I'm getting that out, do you want to do anything coming up?
Oh, yeah. What have we got coming up? We have a big week coming up, actually. We've got a lot of, well, let's ask Susan. What have you got coming up that you'd like to share with the viewers?
Let's see, what do I have? So I have an event that I'm planning that is pretty cool. It's an event in Switzerland. It's called the Interstellar Community Foundation, part of Interstellar University, and we've partnered with Earthrise Collective, which and Wisdom Keepers that has Indigenous elders coming from all around the world for ceremony, prayer, conversation, a Fall Equinox activation. And our event is right after Fall Equinox, and it's 3 days where we're getting into galactic anthropology, getting into the story of origins from different, star nations represented in these Indigenous elders and in different groups all around the world, and get to connect with contactees, right? Like people that remember they may not be as affiliated with any Indigenous community, but they're like you and I, right? Like they remember their star origins, and so conversation, dialogue. It's going to be 3 days of really activation, connection for the new Earth, and new technology is going to be there. Inventors will be there. Conscious AI. Ironically, I'm not a huge fan of AI, but conscious AI, I can get into that. Conscious finance, like we're really looking at what's really required to be part of the new Earth. And I mean, we've got people coming from all over the world, and it really is a private invite only, meaning like we're not blasting it out publicly. If people are interested, I would say they can email me or go to my website, and I'm happy to share a link and share information. And also I have ietevolve.com is the easiest place for people to reach me. as well. But yeah, that's going to be September 19th through September 26th. And if people just want to do 3 days, they can do the 24th through the 26th. But we made it super reasonable. The cost to get over to Switzerland is not cheap, obviously, but I mean, the entry fee is very low. We have awesome housing options that are very inexpensive for people to afford. So we worked hard to make it something that people could attend. But if you're a starseed and you want some community in person and you want New Earth to be a part of it, like it's gonna be good. And so yeah,
Awesome.
that was the call. That was the universe going, pinch hitter, get in there and make this happen. So
Beautiful.
That's it.
Beautiful. Jen, what have you got going on?
I don't know. I was too busy listening.
Me too. Thinking Switzerland.
Yeah, I actually just had a laugh and learn with Gerald at 2:00 today. If you missed it, it was a phenomenal conversation. It was on too muchness and on being able to really navigate that energy, understanding what that is, where it comes from, the truth behind it, right? And that we can own all of who we are and be all that we are and still be able to meet each other and connect with each other. So that was there, and I think that is it for me this week.
Yeah, this isn't our support group week, no. So we've, for us, we've got, for the community, we have our Reiki share on Friday nights. Friday night is what our usual monthly one is. And we have our other courses that are coming up. So we have an introduction. This is for next Wednesday, the 2nd, but there's an introduction to the yoga teacher training program. Jacqueline will be doing that to introduce that. And we have also another program starting up, the Heart-Led Entrepreneur, starting at the end of September. So we're kind of working on trying to find a date for the intro for that. So stay tuned for that one as well. As well as like all sorts of other stuff. So I don't know if you guys know this, but we launched our new website like a week ago, and so check that out and see how we did. Let us know. And yeah, as for podcasts this week, I think this is the only one in this path. I do have my compassionate conversations for My Place Home Care as well, but it's the only one for these. So how are we doing for home play?
So Seeds from the Sacred Feminine is the deck that we use for our home play. And again, these cards come out and you're just like, okay, yep. Don't blame others for your feelings. It says,
we always say you can't make this stuff up.
Yes. In the spirit of conflict, it is easy to see the folly of another person's actions. It is not so easy to see your own foolishness. Take responsibility for your actions, grandchild. What are you feeling? And how have you made those feelings someone else's fault? Your feeling body is sacred and cannot be handed over to another. It is yours alone to experience and learn from. Have you rejected a part of yourself that is showing up in another? The Sacred Mother is the carrier of rejected parts. You can help lessen her burden by taking back yours. Another person may be the catalyst for your hurtful experience, but no other person is able to make you feel something. You are the sole creator of your inner world. If you feel wronged, explore how you wronged yourself or your boundaries. If you feel abused, find out in what ways you abuse yourself. The scenario will not be exactly as you see it outside yourself. Grandchild, trust that there is a key or a teaching in your projection that leads to a greater understanding of who you are.
Beautiful. Couldn't be more appropriate to our conversation. So beautiful. Well, thank you, Susan, so much for coming on. It was an amazing conversation.
You are most welcome, and thank you both.
I look forward to hearing more about your endeavors and all of that that's going on. So thank you all. And thank you all for watching, either live or in the future. And we're sending you all tons of love. Take care.